clubs or team. And I think he was waiting for the right club, for a big club. He wants to win the Champions League. He's very talented. He has a very good philosophy. If you remember how Paris Saint-Germain was playing at the time, let's say that Laurent Blanc is more Guardiola than a Klopp. He's more Manchester City than Liverpool. He wants to take the time to build the actions, and like Rudgis was saying, he likes the sexy football. So you could see lots of changes comparing to the fighting spirit, let's say, for Antonio Conte. It's interesting to see Laurent Blanc signing. But there is one thing he has to do. He has to talk to Marcel and myself, because we have the key of Stamford Bridge. So he has to ask us before if he wants to come.
And Mr. Burley, too, in that picture.
I don't know.
Of course, Mr. Craig Burley, of course.
I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore what Chelsea...
Would he be a good fit,
I don't
Craig?
know. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know what Chelsea want to do. I don't know. I don't think they know what they want to do. Their budgets have been slashed. Their owner's got some issues. Clearly, Conte's still there for the time being. But is Sarri the right fit? Is Blanc the right fit? Is Hazard going to stay? Is Courtois going to stay? Is Morata going to stay? There's so many questions at the moment around Chelsea. I'm just not sure they actually know which direction they want to go in.
The trouble is, it's just been so long since we've seen Laurent Blanc in a position of this kind of stature. Did fantastically at Bordeaux, did as you would expect it at PSG at the start of this project, as it were. But just the time he's been out of the game, is this the job that he comes back into? I just feel that there are other people ahead of him in the queue.
This is one of the worst times to be coming into the Chelsea job, right? There is less money than there's been in the last decade by a long way. On top of that, the other clubs are further ahead, which might sound strange when Chelsea won the league last year, but they've regressed. There's problems behind the scenes. The stadium is either getting built or it's not. And they're not going to outbid Man City. They're not going to outbid Man United for players anymore, unless the owner stumps up the cash. And I talked about the players that might leave. So it's a big risk. Previously, for a manager coming in, it was an open checkbook. Who would you like, Mr. Mourinho? Who would you like, Mr. Ancelotti? Who would you like to sign? Oh, I'll have him and him and him. That ain't going to happen for the next manager.
Frank, the names have already come up. Previous French teams have had a superstar in the midst. Platini, Zidane, even Thierry Henry. Who is that superstar potentially for France right now?
Well, right now, and since the European Championship, I would say Griezmann. He plays for Atletico Madrid, and he's been the star of that club, and he's doing great with the national team for the past 3-4 months. He had a very bad beginning of the season, but he's getting better and better, and winning the Europa League and showing his talent, give him the confidence that he needs. But I really think the future is given to Kylian Mbappe. I mean, that guy is absolutely fantastic. The way he sees football, the way he feels football, but the way he talks about football and the way he plays football makes me think that guy will be soon at the same level as Neymar, maybe, or Ronaldo or Messi. He has the talent, he has the power, he has the thought and the stamina to be one of the best. Hopefully he's going to reach what I think he can do, but we never know.
Frank's already mentioned with Griezmann, Mbappe. You've got young Dembele as well.
Yeah,
they've got one guy who is supposedly a superstar already.
Yeah, and we haven't mentioned him yet.
And Paul Pogba. And it seems to be that people talk about the guys further forward when actually, and Xhaka talks about taking the game by the scruff of the neck and really showing that midfield leadership. That's something I think that he's experienced enough now, both at international level and at club level, that I think Didier Deschamps is going to be looking to Paul Pogba for a bit of leadership on the field, as well as a bit of guile and creativity and some threat from midfield as well.
How's he viewed right there in Paris, Frank Pogba? Is it going to be his time to shine in Russia? It has to be, doesn't it?
Well, he's under lots of pressure. He said that he needs the key of the team. He just said that yesterday in newspapers. He's been very criticized. I don't agree with Craig. I don't think he's going to start against United States on Saturday. I'm not sure he's going to start the World Cup. Tolisso is above him, and on the left side, I think Matuidi is above him. He's been very criticized because, I mean, you have the talent, but we don't see with the national team for the past 2-3 years the Pogba we are expecting, and the Pogba who talks about winning the Ballon d'Or. You know, so he put himself, in fact, in a situation where right now he cannot handle what he says. And he has to rectify something, otherwise he's facing lots of criticism.
Think about what Frank has just told us there. Paul Pogba might not start the first game of the World Cup, which seemed unthinkable.
I'm surprised. Matuidi's gone to Juventus, he's experienced. Tolisso's had a good season. I mean, Rabiot's not even in the squad. You've got Kante as well. But we're talking about a guy here who people have put in a pedestal that's going to be the next great superstar in the game. Not a top 10, 15 player in the world, a top 3 or 4 player in the world. And we're possibly looking at a scenario where he's not playing in the World Cup. I mean, that's a sad indictment, potentially, of the season that he's had.
I think that's the thing. Paul Pogba not starting for France is more an indictment of Paul Pogba than it is championing how good this French squad is. Now, I continue to say that Paul Pogba is at his best operating on the left-hand side. Last couple of friendlies, he's played under Deschamps. That's where he played. In the Euros, Deschamps used him to sit in front of the back four. I thought he was totally ineffective. But he has taken a knock to his confidence. I think he has the talent, has the personality to be the leader in the squad, but just comes into this tournament not having the form. Griezmann is the one in form. Griezmann may be the star, but I go back to this 98 team. He does not hold a candle on Zinedine Zidane in either of those two departments.
Frank, how's Paul Pogba going to react in the squad if he's not playing? How is he going to react around the dressing room for a month if he's not starting? Is that going to be a problem?
Well, it might be, but we have the experience of the semi-final against Germany in the European Championship. If you properly recall, he didn't start. It was kind of a punishment that Didier Deschamps did to him, and he came back, reacted very well, and was one of the main players against the German team. So I think he's a good guy. Really, he's a good guy, and I agree with you. He has the talent for that, but he put too much pressure on himself, saying that he wants to be the Ballon d'Or, that he wants the key of the national team, that he wants to be the #1. Just don't say anything. Just work hard. He played on the left side the last game against Italy. He was the worst player on the field, national team-wise, French side. And so he has to react. You can have the words if you show on the pitch that you are the best. But otherwise, just, be quiet, just work hard. And we don't like that in France. If you talk, you have to produce. Otherwise,
I don't think
it's better if you don't say anything.
I think, well, for a big star player not playing at a World Cup, you've got to have a great mentality to be able to accept that.
I thought he took it on the chin from Jose Mourinho as well. He had his issue with Jose, but didn't seem to be a disruptive element within that Old Trafford dressing room, which is why I say if he's not playing for France, I don't think he will be, anything to worry about.
I'll tell you what, though, you mentioned Mourinho. If he doesn't, and it's still enough, if he doesn't feature much for France, or certainly at the start, then Jose Mourinho will be like to his detractors. See?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You
said all year it was my negative style, and I couldn't get the best out of Paul Pogba. Well, have a look. Yeah. France are not picking him either.
The United States men's national team had a new general manager, Ernie Stewart. You might have heard of him. Of course, he was a US player in the 1994 World Cup, 2002 World Cup, has been the sporting director of the Philadelphia Union since October of 2015. Spent most of his career overseas in the Dutch Eredivisie. Also played with DC United. He had his introductory press conference today. And one of the main quotes was really about how the US can one day be world champions again. And
did you say again?
I mean,
somebody said that again.
Said that again, rather than them being world champions again. Talked about the young talent and the passion.
Well, you don't have a tremendous amount of young talent. You might have a lot of passion, but I think that's been economical with the truth. Look, I'm sure Mr. Stewart's a very clever guy, and congratulations on him getting the job. What his remit will be, I don't quite know. But you don't need to be talking about the ultimate goal is winning the World Cup, because we know it's just feeding the piranhas. There's enough piranhas floating around the US men's national team that bob along and hang on to every word. So, you know, I think it's about, for them, it's about getting the structure right. It's about getting youngsters coming through, and it's about getting the best out of what you've got and getting better players to play along with your better players, i.e. Christian Pulisic. Christian Pulisic needs help. He needs better quality alongside him. And that's going to take time. That's not going to happen overnight.
The thing is, the game continues to grow at amazing pace here in the US. And I think there will be young players coming through. But for all the things that the US have gotten right, there's still a lot for them.
I understand what you're saying about the group, but why hasn't that resulted in a lot of better players so far?
I think it's a process. It's a process in that you don't have people who understand the game at the grassroots level playing the game at the grassroots level.
2002, Claudio Reyna, Brian McBride, Ernie Stewart, part of that group.
I think US continues to develop and create good individual talent, not to the numbers that other people do. As an example, I say this, you are more likely to see a basketball hoop in somebody's drive than them have a soccer ball in their house. And until that reverses itself, you won't see some of the natural talent coming through.
But they were still better in 2002, weren't they?
Look,
that team made the quarterfinals.
I think that team had more to prove. They were playing for. They understood that they were playing for the future of the game. Yes.
Were they not just better players?
They were playing for the future of the game and had that and took that attitude into what they were doing. Now all of a sudden, a lot of this talent feel as though they've made it because they have MLS contracts and are earning very well out of the game. They have nothing to prove and feel they've arrived. And again, until that mentality adjusts itself, you won't see the types of attitudes. You may see some of the talents, but you won't see the attitudes that you did in 2002.
Do you think that 2002 team was better, Craig? Some of those players I mentioned, Reyna, McBride, Ernie Stewart, I mean...
Better than what's around
better
now.
Than what they have right now on this team that didn't make the World Cup.
Absolutely. I mean, seriously, a team that gets to the quarter-final. I've always said this. The boys that are kind of similar age to us, maybe a little younger, maybe some a little older, that went away and played quality football in quality European leagues for a long time, harnessed the quality and performances that the US needed for tournaments like that. This team hasn't got enough of them, and certainly hasn't got enough good ones.
The truth is, at the highest level, there's very little in terms of a difference in talent between all the players at the top. Yes, there are some outliers like your Lionel Messi's and your Ronaldo's, but there's very little, and it's all about attitude and application. And we can sit here and debate who is the more talented squad. Talent-wise, I don't think whichever one you decide. There's not a lot between 2002 and now. It's about an attitude, and it's about an application of that attitude.
How long is it since the debacle of Trinidad and Tobago? When was that again?
7 months.
That was in
7 months
October.
6 or 7 months later, I'm still reading and watching and listening to people still trying to play the blame game. Who was it? Was it Bruce, or was it Jurgen? Was it Sunil Gulati? Bruce Arena had 8 games, for God's sake, out of 10. To get it right, and I still try to blame Jurgen Klinsmann, who is far from perfect, I understand. But this is the problem. They're always looking for the excuse, right?
They always have an excuse. They always have a note.
1 point they needed against Trinidad and Tobago, right? 1 point. Nobody was talking about the bottom was falling out of US soccer before that game, and yet all the puppets jumped up at the end of it saying, oh, this is it. Hey, America's not going to the World Cup. That's it. Soccer's going to absolutely crumble in this country. I mean, what absolute nonsense some of these people come up with.
US soccer always has a note. There's, again, talking about talent, there was absolutely no reason for this US team to go to Trinidad and Tobago and not win. Absolutely none. Yet still, you produce a certain amount of talent. We have too many players, or the US has too many players playing in MLS. Yet everybody in the rest of CONCACAF is aiming to get into MLS. The pay-for-play system, the college system, the coaches, we aren't producing enough players at grassroots level. Everybody has an out, and nobody's taking responsibility. And that, again, is the difference between this team, the team in 2002, you want to go all the way back to 94 and 1990, where you had arguably less talent and certainly less in terms of a size of a players pool. But they all had something to prove, and that is the biggest difference between then and now.
It's a how long until the World Cup actually starts edition of ESPN FC Extra.
Craig's been counting down. Craig's been keeping track.
Can it just arrive, please?
Somebody asked me to do another predictor. I'm going to.
How many have you done, by the way? Let me predict how many.
Same as probably most other people, but I mean, it's like the first thing people. As soon as you walk in the office, the first thing people say now, done that predictor. I'm like, what one? I did.
Here's the trouble. I have to go back and keep watching my original predictor.
Yeah, one
because I forgot.
One the other day for a magazine. One. Is there more? Is there anything I've missed?
If it was called a guesser, would that be more?
Yeah. Oh, it's a guesser.
Would you like to?
Oh, it's a guesser. It's a guesser.
Rather than a predictor.
I guess.
I guess we're going to be asking you. We're going to be asking you, or rather, Ramsey's going to be asking.
Any more predictors? I'm going to go to Russia. I'm going to pay my own flight.
Is that a threat or a promise?
I predict there's no way you
boys will
pay
chip
for
in.
your own flight.
Yeah, we will.
You boys will chip in.
You would pay for your own flight.
Just to get away from these bloody predictors.
Who are you supporting in the World Cup, Ramsey wants to know, besides TNT, of course.
I'm supporting Costa Rica.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going CONCACAF.
Flying the flag for CONCACAF?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm going CONCACAF.
They did pretty well.
They're actually a decent side, aren't they?
Yeah.
They did pretty well last time.
Had a good tournament 4 years ago. I'm going to Costa Rica again.
Yeah? What group are they? I'm trying to remember what group they're trying to get out.
They're in Costa, they're in their own group.
I predict, I can't remember what group.
I can't remember.
That's the trouble with
a lot of groups.
It all just sort of evolves into one, doesn't it?
Well, they surprised everyone by even getting out of the group in Brazil.
They won it.
England, Italy, Uruguay, and they won the group.
Yeah.
Amongst 3 former winners.
Yeah.
And then pushed on from there. So you are an honorary Tico with Serbia, Switzerland, and Brazil. I can tell you.
Serbia, okay.
So
Easy.
Did you just think of that?
Yeah. It suddenly came to me.
Suddenly in your ear.
In my ear, it came to me.
Costa Rica and Brazil. Brazil in trouble.
Gavin, switching the subject but keeping it very much on goalkeepers, says, who plays in your dream team, Ederson, Neuer or De Gea?
I think De Gea is the best in the world right now.
Yeah?
So De Gea.
Yeah? Yep. But you didn't pick him for the World Cup starting 11, did you?
No, I didn't.
I forget. Oh, you had Alisson.
I had Alisson.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. The plot thickens here. The plot thickens. De Gea is the best in the world.
Yeah, but
at the moment, but I've just picked my World Cup team about 2.5 hours ago at your desk, and you put Ederson in.
Alisson. But like I said, I picked that team feeling who comes out of the World Cup with their reputation the most enhanced.
It was a forward-looking.
Yeah, that was what I used. That
was your own remit.
Yes, that was mine. That's what I was just told. Pick a World Cup 11, and that's what I went.
Smell a bit of BS here.
Which players will come out smelling of roses?
Yes, but that's what I said.
He's always got an answer.
That's what I said during the show.
All right.
That's why I nearly had Man.
That's why this man does the Shaq's power ranking.
That's why I nearly had Man in the team, because I think Senegal will do very well.
I think you should do the what's that team that Nicol and Marin are doing on Sunday?
No, I don't want to do that. No.
The team of the week. I think you should be doing team of the week as well.
Premier League team of the week.
Yeah, that's
the power rankings takes up my entire week.
Shaq's power ranking. I mean, that's why he does it.
Takes up my entire week.
Got all the answers.
Talking of Premier League, thank you for that. Are Manchester United closer to winning the Premier League than Liverpool or Spurs? Is the question.
Yeah. Well, simple mathematics would tell you straight away.
They were closer mathematically this year.
They were the closest this season.
I guess the question is perhaps more of a big picture look at.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't throw Spurs into that, but I certainly, because I don't think they'll be in the running next year.
Liverpool will have Keita.
But Liverpool, they've signed Fabinho. They've signed. Well, they signed Keita a while ago.
Yeah.
There's been some talk about Salah, but agents in Barcelona and all that, but that will never go away because of the season he had. But I would still say Man United will be the closest, I would think. Bearing in mind they've got Fred coming in, and there will be more. Yep. There will be more coming in at Man United.
As we sit right now, I think without question, Manchester United are the closest to City, who I still have as favourites. I expect both clubs this is Liverpool and Manchester United, to make a lot more signings between now and the start of the season. But as we sit right now, yes, United, without question.
United will be winning that league title before the other two, yeah?
Well, I'd actually like to see Liverpool put a real push on, because they haven't won it in the Premier League current era.
No, last time.
But I'm not hedging my bets for one over the other. But I think Shaq is right. It's City at the moment, it's United, and then it's probably Liverpool, close third, depending on transfer activity.
And for Spurs, 1961, I believe. Are we going to see Spurs win a?
Well, they don't even know if they're going to have a manager. Well, they'll have a manager, but
does it depend on keeping Pochettino?
They don't know who it's going to be. They're moving into the new stadium. We'll be ready for the start of the year. I'm not sure. Daniel Levy will need to open the purse strings.
Are you confident Pochettino is staying, or do you think, because he's just signed a new contract? You're not confident?
Even if Pochettino stays, I don't think Spurs come close to the other three. And I think Spurs' biggest issue is not Pochettino or whether he stays or goes, but their wage structure. If you allow a player like Toby Alderweireld to run out his contract, which he's got 2 years left, but you aren't willing to match his demands, it shows that you aren't serious about competing with the others. You aren't.
All right, well, talking of serious, final question from Jacob, and I guess it's specifically directed to Craig. Craig, do you try to create scenarios wherein you make ridiculous statements that lead to Shaka Hislop laughing hysterically?
I love when people say this, because I love when people put stuff like that down, because nobody ever tells me what the ridiculous statements are,
right,
so that I can make an argument about why they're not ridiculous. Some people think stuff are ridiculous because they don't agree with them.
Right. And I love the thought that you would put that thought into what statements are going to make him laugh.
So he can laugh. I mean, we do say things off the cuff, but there won't be statements about anything serious about football. I mean, people get a bit mixed up about that.
No, but I think people like seeing Shaka laugh.
Well, he laughs.
It's fun.
Hysterically.
You gotta enjoy what you're doing. That's all.
I had him bubbling once for about 10 minutes.
Oh goodness! What was that business from Napoli?
It was the young lad at Napoli who may not have been as young as everyone
He was
thought.
supposedly 17, wasn't he?
And they reckoned he might have been 42.
That was.
And we had a long discussion about it one day. It was just before the World Cup, actually, in Brazil, 2014. We sat over there at the old desk.
We didn't have a long discussion.
It was live. It was,
we didn't have a long discussion. You just kept going on about it, and then kept calling for ESPN lawyers to stop you. You kept calling for ESPN lawyers.
So he loves a laugh. He loves a laugh.
Hey, it's fun.
Yes,
gonna enjoy it.
Indeed. All right. Well, I think I actually just about escaped scot-free without any comments on my jacket-free state of play.
Well, a bit of a dodgy shot.
Yeah.
It's Twitter yet. Twitter will come looking for you. Don't worry.
You're back on tomorrow.
I am.
Yeah. For more hysterical laughter.
Well, we'll see.
You won't have Craig providing
ridiculous statements.
We'll see. See how I feel.
Paul Mariner will be the man making you laugh hysterically tomorrow.
With a nose like that.
Available every day. Ali Moreno will also be on tomorrow. ESPN Plus, the sign. And Ralph Hollickstein. In fact, names keep on coming to my ear.
I'm leaving my jacket home.
Not Frank Leboeuf. He's done.
Shaka Hislop in the house. Join me to talk about this interesting one. Willian is finally voicing his frustrations. We already know that he posted some frustrations about the bench time that he's been spending at Chelsea. And now this could possibly lead to an exit from the Blues. Now, Shaka, just the fact that there's so many uncertainties around Chelsea now and the whole manager position, would you ask him to just hang on a little bit? Or is this just now that he said how he feels, go find greener pastures?
No, I think Chelsea would do the responsible thing and wait to see who their manager is for next season. I thought by now we'd have heard something about Antonio Conte, about his departure, and who else is to come in. But the kind of silence around that maybe suggests something isn't right. Will he be there next season? We're not quite sure what to think. But that doesn't clear up Willian's situation at all. Now, if Antonio Conte is gone, there's no question in my mind that Willian looks for pastures anew, and there are any number of clubs who would be interested and grateful for his signature. Now, if a new manager comes in, he'll have to run the rule over the current squad, see who he has, who he wants, doesn't want, and who needs to come in. So that creates another set of uncertainty. Now, Willian has been heavily linked with Manchester United, and I think it would be a perfect fit, despite or not despite, but including the signing of. I'm going to totally anglicize his name here. Fred coming into Manchester United, I think adds to the strength of Manchester United's squad if they can get Willian. But now it's a little bit of a catch-22 because you see exactly how well Nemanja Matic did in his switch from Stamford Bridge to Old Trafford. Now you're tempted to say Willian would do the exact same. But if you're Chelsea, you're thinking we're not going to make that same mistake twice. So as a result, again, the uncertainty doesn't help Willian's prospects, and certainly it works doubly negatively in his prospects to move to Old Trafford.
All right, thanks so much to Shaka Hissaf. Still plenty question marks surrounding Chelsea and Willian's future there, but we'll continue tracking this one. Diogo Dalot is officially a Manchester United player. Shaka Hissap is joining me for a reaction to this one. And Shaka, at just 19 years old, the fullback is still pretty young in the world of football. He only made his debut for Porto back in February. So what do you make of this kind of a signing from Man United? And what does it tell us about what Jose Mourinho's trying to do at United?
He's planning for the future. And I think it's a good signing at, what, £18 million in today's market. That's not a whole lot of money for a player who's shown a lot of promise, though only for a short time in Porto, but can come in, play either side of defence in a position where Young and Valencia, as good as they've been and continue to be, I have to say I continue to be impressed with those two season in, season out, but they're getting older, and at some point you're going to have to start to look for replacements. Maybe Dalot kind of fills their shoes in time, and if not, I don't think Manchester United lose in the transfer market if he continues to develop, which I fully expect him to.
Well, like you said, this is, of course, Jose Mourinho trying to build a squad, but Manchester United's defence is an area that has been heavily criticised over the past year or so, despite the fact that Jose Mourinho is United's coach. So how do you see him being used in the upcoming season? Do you see him coming in a lot for Antonio Valencia, or how?
I'm not sure if he comes in an awful lot, other than to give either Valencia or Young a rest as need be. I think the issues with Manchester United defensively are the centre-back positions, where he hasn't had a steady pair. For me, the most talented of his defenders, Bailey, has suffered with injury, and as a result, they've had to chop, change, and rotate. Now, if he makes these signings or continues to show faith in these signings, he needs a bit more luck, certainly in terms of the injury department, to have a settled back four. I don't see this as being the answer, certainly not the immediate answer to Manchester United's defensive woes.
All right, thanks so much to Shaka Hissap. Well, it seems like Manchester United still have a lot of work to do in the transfer window if they want to get that defence just right. We are back with some rumour rates. Shaka Hissap getting ready to tackle some of these and try and make sense of them. Shaka, let's start with this one because we are just never tired of talking about it. And we thought it would go away when Zinedine Zidane stepped down at Real Madrid, but it clearly hasn't. So Gareth Bale to Man United, hit or miss?
Well, we've been talking about this for not just this summer, but the last 2 or 3 summers, in all honesty. I'm going to put this down as a miss. Not because I don't think Gareth Bale would be a great fit at Manchester United and Manchester United are desperate to get him. I think Bale would be looking at, he was linked with Bayern Munich earlier, a couple of months ago. I think that's the more likely of the two destinations. So as a result, I'm going to put that down as a miss.
That sound you hear is Manchester United fans crying everywhere, including myself. Anyways, moving on. Antoine Griezmann to Barcelona. This one has also been floating around for a bit too, Shaka. What do you think? Good maybe? Good hit?
And Antoine Griezmann has done nothing to kind of quell the speculation. He's now said, I'll make an announcement before the World Cup starts. I'll be honest. I thought this was a done deal. And I thought if Griezmann is going to Barcelona, he would say by now. But he hasn't. Which suggests to me that I think he's leaning on staying at Atletico Madrid. So I'm going to put that down as a miss.
What about this one now? Alisson to Chelsea. You wouldn't think that Chelsea have any serious goalkeeping situation or problems going on with Courtois, but there are lots of problems behind the scenes from top to bottom. So how do you think this would work out?
The issue is Courtois heavily linked with Real Madrid. So as a result, Chelsea start looking, and understandably, Alisson is on everybody's radars. Now, my understanding was Alisson to Liverpool was almost a done deal. I thought that we'd have heard something about that by now. We haven't. But still, I think I'm going to keep Liverpool in pole position. So as a result, again, keep that as a miss.
Thiago to Barcelona.
I don't see this. I don't see this happening. I think he's been outstanding at Bayern Munich. Yes, left Barcelona to go to Bayern. I just feel each day is there too important to Bayern Munich.
Oh my goodness, misses all around for sure. We're almost running out of space. Edinson Cavani to Atletico Madrid. Dare he leave PSG?
I'm going to put this down as a hit.
Just so he can't
because we run out of spaces for misses and we've still got one to come. But I think, you know, Cavani has been very important to PSG. But you've got to feel for his frustration. I like Cavani a lot. Winning Ligue 1, I don't think ticks a whole lot of boxes for PSG or players like Cavani now. You've got to go deeper in the Champions League, and maybe Cavani coming in to fill a role. Fernando Torres has now moved on. I know he hasn't figured a lot for Atletico Madrid, but maybe that makes sense to give Diego Costa a strike partner, to give another option, and to give Atletico Madrid even more punch up front. So I put that down as a hit.
And finally, Mo Salah, who honestly wouldn't want this. And we don't even have to wait till after the World Cup to try and get these rumors swirling. But Mo Salah to Barcelona, could that be a hit or a miss?
Again, I think Mo Salah going to Barcelona ticks all kinds of boxes. The challenges with most of these misses is that I just don't see it happening. I don't see Liverpool letting him go after a year, and certainly not after the season that he had. If it happens, it's going to be an extortionate amount of money. Even so, especially given the way Liverpool played hardball over Coutinho.
But eventually they had to.
Yeah, but that was in January. I don't see Mo Salah to Barcelona does not happen this summer. Maybe something happens and there's so much money on the table come January, but not this summer.
Stevie Nicol can't handle another one, so for his sake, let's hope Mo Salah stays. Thanks so much to Shaka Hislop. Continue tracking all of these rumors right here at ESPN FC. Shaka Hislop is joining me for a very special edition of World Cup Predictor. Shaka, so we have a couple of categories. I'm going to give you my picks, and then I'm going to ask for yours. And we don't know each other's picks. We're going to surprise each other. So Messi or Ronaldo?
Are we going 1-1, or are you going to give me all your picks?
1-1.
Okay.
So Messi or Ronaldo to score the most goals at this year's World Cup? I'm going for Lionel Messi. That's just because I trust Argentina to get further in the tournament than Portugal.
I'll agree with you there. I don't think Portugal have a very good tournament. I think Argentina will disappoint by what's expected of them, but all the same, Lionel Messi.
Mexico or England to go further in the tournament? Ooh, this could be a sore one. We could get a lot of haters for this one, but hey, that's why we do what we do, right, Shaka?
We're going for?
I have Mexico.
Oh.
I'm going with our fellow CONCACAF team.
All right, let me see. I did a World Cup predictor on FC recently, and I had Mexico and England going out to the same stage.
Oh.
I will say this time, though, more likely to go further, England.
Oh.
Mexico are drawn in Group F with Germany. I don't see them winning the group. As a result, they play the Group E winners, Brazil. Don't see them going any further than that.
You never know.
England with Belgium, the winner, first and second in that group, play first and second in Group H, which is Senegal and Colombia. So I think England have a better chance. They'll be playing either Senegal or Colombia in my predictor. They have a better chance of going further, so I go with England.
Shaka was also born in London, so he's trying to keep his Great Britain passport so he can stop asking for visas like to travel.
Hold on, wait till the end.
Okay, well, who do you think will be missed more? Do you think Spain will be missing Morata more, or will France be missing Lacazette more? I'm going to go with Alvaro Morata because I think with, honestly, all of the talent and the team that France has, I don't think they'll really be missing anybody.
Yeah.
Spain have it too, but
at the same time, Morata has been in desperately poor form to finish the season. Lacazette hasn't had the opportunities. I like Lacazette more, maybe. I do.
You see, when France fly all the way through the tournament, I'm going to remind you of this. Okay. And you can tell me if they're really missing Lacazette.
If Spain stumble, it's not going to be because Morata isn't there, though. I'm just saying.
All right, Shaka. Finally, let's go to this one, the underdog story. We all love an underdog story. We know Iceland is pretty much everyone's underdog, if you want to call them that. But you know what? I'm going for Morocco. I think they are a very stubborn team. Yes, I know that their group kind of looked tricky because it's got Spain and Portugal, but I feel like they could bother Portugal, and it doesn't take that much to bother them, so you never know.
Okay, I hinted at my underdog a little bit earlier in this segment. Second highest African team in the tournament. Ooh. I think gets out of their group. I think meet either England or Belgium, and I think they get the better of them. Senegal is my underdog story for this World Cup.
Morocco, remember, didn't even concede a goal. So let's see. Let's see them get past it. I mean, I expect Spain to, but we'll see. And Cristiano Ronaldo, maybe, I suppose. All right, Shaka. So I'm surprised you never went with Iceland. I'm glad we're going for African teams in this one. Thank you so much, Shaka. We'll check back in and see if any of our predictions magically come true.